Welcome to the Block Party with Girardi. My name is Seth Kushner, Dan Girardi. We are back. How you feeling today about our guest?
Oh, feeling good. Just off a fresh haircut here from Wexford House. But we have a really special guest today, a guy I play with for almost 2 years, and a guy I'm looking to now for minor hockey advice for my son and the future kids here. That me and Vinny are coaching. We got Marty St. in the house, and we couldn't be happier to have him.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome to the show. Have you heard anything about the podcast? Did you know
nothing at all?
Did you know? Did you know G was doing a podcast?
Yes, I did. I saw it.
What'd you think?
It could be on Twitter, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know where I see it.
I'm sure the Lightning posted something.
Yeah,
Classic.
and no, I mean, G has always had great, colors. Like he could always tell good stories, animate stuff, and so I'm not surprised that he finds himself in this chair right now, and I'm actually really pleasantly surprised that he's not reading off a teleprompter.
I know. We kind of what we do here is usually we Google a guy or like hockey DB a guy and just get some info and just talk about that. We don't have a clue what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, Marty, I want to know, your legs are most often described as tree trunks. That's what everybody commonly refers to them as. Has anybody referred to them as anything else over the years besides tree trunks that really stuck with you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Really?
His legs would be the opposite of killers. Killers, chicken legs.
Oh, yeah.
So what I don't know. I'm just jealous. I got small, skinny legs too, but they look kind of big. It was just
your ankles are bigger than your calves, just because of the block shots.
My ankles. He's known for his quads and calves. Just ankles.
Yeah, if ankles would be muscles, you'd be strong.
I'd be in a competition like Gold's Gym for ankles. Anyways, let's get this thing rolling here. You're in town, I believe, for this hockey day in Tampa thing, or you're doing some games with your kids?
Yeah, it's part of it. I've been meaning to try to get my 05. So I have three boys, 03, 05, 08. My 05 is second year Bantam. And the last few years I've been trying to. Florida has a very good 05 team, the Florida Alliance, I believe that's what they're called. And we've played them over the years. And actually one of the coaches, Al Hargis, he's the one who actually taught my kids skate when they were young here in Brandon. And so we see each other quite a bit up north, and we're always trying to find a way to maybe come down here. But it never, the way the schedule was scheduled, I always told Al, I'm going to come down if I can mix in a Lightning game, so I want to give the team I've been coaching for 4 or 5 years a great experience in Tampa, not just come in, play games. I try to get the family to make the trip worthwhile, and so we're going to catch the Saturday night game, play 2 games against Al's team tomorrow and then one Sunday, and obviously doing the hockey day thing with some of the alumni. Looking forward to it. So it's kind of we're hitting many corners here with with us being in town between the kids and myself being here.
Marty, could you use a guy like G on your team for the alumni game? Because I think he's the only guy that doesn't want to take any part of it. The game, the skills competition, nothing.
Yeah, I don't want. I'm not going to embarrass myself. I haven't skated in a while. I'm Tuesday, Thursday nights in Brandon, I'm demonstrating one drill every hour, and I'm gassed after doing a 5-second tight turn.
Yeah, I can get out there for a block shot competition.
I'll definitely have Vinny shoot at me, because that's not going to hurt. When Vinny comes down for a slap shot, I'll just be like, yeah, here, hit me in the ankle.
No pads.
Let's go like my coach's tracksuit like I have on right now.
Marty, what's the key to these games? You're obviously so competitive. Do you play 50%, 60%, 70%? How do you go and play these games?
Like the
alumni games?
I don't think we're playing a game.
Oh, you're not? You're just doing the skills competition.
We're doing the skills competition.
There's no game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if there's a game or not. He's here to win. Let's be honest.
I don't know.
And that's no knock.
Yeah,
Marty, though.
I don't know if I'm dialed in a way where I can just pretend to try. I don't know. I mean, maybe the first 5-6 minutes, but then after that, I don't know. I like to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I always admired about him, especially when he got to New York. I'm just like, this guy knows how to win, wants to win every battle in practice. Doesn't matter if it's the dumbest one-on-one the corner drill with me, and I'm just laughing because I took practice seriously, but not. I should have probably taken it more serious. I'd still be playing possibly, but I always loved his work ethic in practice.
The only time I in practice that I would actually let loose a little bit is Torts had these we do one-on-one battles. Literally everybody would be around the rink, and you pair up and you just one-on-one against the board. And I always went with Vinny. Because
Vinny was cutting deals for sure. He's like, hey Marty, I'll let you go here.
No, I went with Vinny because I used to literally tickle him. Like, I used to make him laugh the whole time. Like, I would like take my glove off, like, if Torts wasn't looking.
Underneath his arm.
Vinny would get like, tell me to stop because he was afraid Torts would lose it. Yeah, no, I was. I couldn't wait for those one-on-one battles.
What is your best Torts story? We've obviously talked about him a lot on this show. A lot of people have good experiences, bad experiences. I asked Vinny when he was on the podcast, I said, tell me something nice about Torts, and it took him a long time. I had to edit out all that silence. It took a while for him to get to an answer. Do you have best Torts story or just the impact that he's had on you?
I don't know which one Vinny told, but one of my favorite Torts story that's not about me is about Vinny.
Oh, this is I got Vinny's stories on my memo pad.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's perfect.
Yeah, maybe next time Vinny can tell a story about me. And well, I'll give you two. I'll give you one about Vinny, which I thought it was hard not to laugh. Is we were in Carolina. And we lost the game, and the next morning we come in, we practice in Carolina before we left, and he watches the video. We're doing video with Torts, and then he pauses it, and he shows Vinny talking to Eric Stahl on the face-off.
You know what? I think he brought something up like this. I keep going. I like this.
So he's giving it to Vinny because he was talking to Stahl, and I think he said, "What are you telling him?" You know, Torts like, Torts wanted us to go to war. Obviously, we did, but the enemies were not your friends. You're not supposed to talk to them. And Vinny is off the draw. He's talking to Stahl, who just scored a goal. I think Vinny's telling him, "Nice goal" or something. And Torts completely lost it, and we're trying not to laugh. And the first thing we did when we got out of the meeting, poor Vinny, we all done it. Like, sometimes you play with against guys that you respect and stuff, and if a guy scores a nice goal, sometimes of course you want to win, but sometimes you can actually acknowledge something that was very.
Who told us that? Andrea Chuck. Yeah. I feel like he told us that.
Yeah, that was Dave. Yeah,
just a week ago.
Yeah, that wasn't Vinny. That was Dave. I think mentioned that because I asked him about a Vinny story.
He also told us there was a spot in Amley that you could hear the coaches yelling or something.
He said like from the locker room, whatever you said, you can hear like wherever. Yeah. So I texted Stammer right away. I said, "Listen, buddy." I said, "Listen, shut up. Stop talking about Coop."
Yeah. No, but me and Torts, it was like, to me, Torts was like a tough dad, like, but does things for me, for my best interests. And so we had some ups and downs, but honestly, like looking back on it, I mean, I wouldn't want to play for any other guy if I had to pick one. But there's one time we were at home, actually we were going to Carolina after the game, and he brought me in between the second and third and showed me I felt he was just nitpicking my game about something, and we end up in the third. He kind of iced me a little bit in the third, and we were going to Carolina, and I was upset. And not that I was playing a good game, but we're down 3-1. I scored the goal, at least give me a little more, whatever. And I followed him into his office. And Nigel had to get in between us a little bit, and I told Torts to come and get me when you're ready to talk, because he wanted to talk to his coaches. And so I'm sitting in the lounge on the couch, and we're going to the plane. So everybody's like leaving, and the guys know, my teammates all know that I was upset, and me and Torts went at it a little bit. And I'm sitting on the couch, still sweating in my suit, and I'm just waiting for Torts to come and get me, and he never does. So I actually, guys are making fun of me walking by, and I'm fired up, and I got on the plane. Obviously, he never came and got me. And then the next morning, obviously the emotions were in a better place, and I go to Torts, and I was like, "Hey, can we talk?" Yeah, I say, "Sorry about last night." He goes, and what about last night? Like, that was kind of Torts was an emotional guy too, but he didn't hold any grudges. He just understood the emotions of the game and how much the players care and how much he cared. And it was the next day it was done, and we just went to war again. That's what I really liked about Torts.
You never shot a puck in his direction in practice or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. Guilty as charged. I did that once when I was struggling on the power play in practice, and he put Strawman on for me or something like that, and I just shot the puck in his direction, and he said, "Was that for me?" And I said, "No," and I chickened out. Like no, it wasn't, John. Anyways, I have here, we talked a little bit before we got on here about, I asked if our Bulls team is going to the States at the end of the month, and I asked you if your kids won any tournaments or something. He goes, I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure I've seen a banner up in Brandon with Ryan, is that your oldest
Yeah,
or
my
no?
oldest is
Ryan.
Ryan.
It said Ryan St. Louis on it. Might have been State.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even know either.
You were there today. You were there today. You know what? I'm there Tuesday. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Send a picture
please,
to you.
thank you.
But the reason I'm bringing this up is when your sons played, how was the minor hockey program here? Were there a lot of other teams around?
Well, I think the best thing about my son coming in at that time is ADM USA Hockey was kind of starting, with the station-based stuff, and actually like Al Hargis, who's coached that 05 team, really took charge, and he really ran practices, make sure the stations were set and stuff. So in terms of development for my kid's age, it was actually perfect. But in terms of the winning, I don't know. Like my kids had fun, and I think parents in general, they just get so wrapped up in winning and losing, and honestly, like who remembers what tournament they won and mites and squirt and peewee, and nobody remembers. It doesn't matter. It's about the journey and like the ups and downs and stuff that you should really cherish and think about, not just the winning. And winning is fun, but I think at the young age, these kids are just trying to, hopefully they get the passion, they fall in love with the game, and that keeps them away from all the bad stuff that the influence in life.
This is the info that sometimes yours truly needs to hear sometimes too, right? I'm fresh out of the NHL game.
Yeah.
Me and Vinny, we're both pretty passionate guys. Like, want our kids to do our best. Like, really just want them to try their hardest. That's kind of what we care about.
Yeah.
But it's good to hear that, and hopefully some of the parents out there kind of listen to a guy that's a Hall of Famer, and the guy's numbers in the rafters here. Damn it, like, you got to listen to guys like this when they talk. Sometimes they listen to me and they hear me too much, but when you have a guy come in, like, this is the good stuff we need. I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really the development. Trust me, I love to win, and I coach youth hockey, and I have a Bantam major now, and Lucas, and I have a Pee Wee minor, and it's hard to go back and forth because I expect my Pee Wee minor to do stuff that my Bantam major do, but I got to tone it down. I got to make it age appropriate, and obviously the meetings and everything's got to be dumbed down for the age appropriate. I like to win, but to me, like you got to just let it win, like organically. Like, come on, help me out.
Organically. Oh,
Thank
wow.
you. You let it happen. Like, you can't just, there's. I mean, it's not about trying to win the game in the first period, second period. Yeah, maybe there's a time in the third where you're tired. Your team deserves you to try to help them win the game, but I don't want to win at the price of making kids not like hockey. Especially at that age. The development piece, the practices are way more important than games. And they go out there and compete. That's their test. And when they do good things, they feel good about themselves. But I think as parents, sometimes you get caught up a lot in, okay, what's my son doing? Is he scoring? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? Instead of like, hey, did you have fun today? Did you work hard? That's all that matters, really. And if they keep falling in love with it, they'll push themselves even harder at some point, and they're going to take ownership in their game. And next thing you know, whatever, they play high school or whatever it is. But it's not going to be because of what the parents say in the car or how well they did at 10 years old. Like, it doesn't matter. It's to me, it's all about it's a long game. You play the long game, and you want to keep that runway as long as you can. And to me, like that, if you find a way to parlay a college education with the sport, and it keeps you out of all the bad influence out there that can take you in the wrong direction.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know if I'm sure you haven't seen it, but I was in the Tampa Bay Parenting magazine.
Where are all those copies?
Oh yeah, they're on my coffee table for a guest. No, I did mention in one of the questions, like, you can't. Well, if you want to, I guess you can go to the rink every day. But I tell the kids, like, make sure when you come to the rink, you're excited to go. Not just it's like, oh man, I'm coming to the rink again just for practice. Like you got to keep it fresh. Play some baseball, play whatever, keep it fresh, and want to be excited to come to the rink. Sometimes even us pros, like when it's like monotonous, like every day, and then you have a day off. Yeah. Sometimes they give you 2 days off, then you're just fired up to go the next day. And I definitely, I hope myself and our coaching staff with the Bulls are taking this in, because we do get on the kids a little bit, not like crazy, but like I think it's some good outside insight.
But I think it's important that the kids are pushed, but as long as it's age appropriate and it's fair. Like I have no problem. I'm demanding with my players, my kids, but I think I'm fair. And you try to get them to become the best versions of themselves, and that comes with work ethic. So sometimes you got to push them to make sure their work ethic standards are where they should be. But the whole like the parents push and the privates and this and that's all fine. At some point they get their license. At some point they drive themselves places. At some points they decide what they're going to do. So if everything is forced, okay, because you're dictating when he goes to the rink and when he does this, does that, at some point that stops, and now they have to make their own decisions. So if it's always forced, at some point that's going to stop.
That is just good. We might have to take these clips and just like keep sending them out Instagram to all the parents out there, because it's so true though. Like even like I got all the time in the world now. I'm not doing anything, but I keep asking my son, like, do you want to go to practice? Or do you want to go do this power skating thing? Do you want to go outside and shoot? I'm not like, let's get outside and shoot. Like, hey, if you want to do it, hey, I'm here for you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm sure he knows where the stick is, where the net is, where the pucks are. Exactly.
The cars, not always in there.
And I know today, like obviously with the phones, the video games, and this and that, like there's so many options to occupy your time, and I don't want to tell my kids what they have to do, but I like to tell my kids what they can't do, and obviously the phone time,
What do you do with that?
So if I can monitor, okay, on the weekends that we have nothing, which that's really rare, but once you've played on your phone for a couple hours, okay, now you can't anymore. So now I don't care if you pick up a ball, a racket, a stick, I don't care what you do, but you're not doing that.
Yeah.
So, then they, because you become like addicted, yeah,
glued. You're just dependent on it. Yeah.
Marty, I want to know. Tell me about the Barry Melrose 6-team game era, and when that ownership group was here. As a player, could you tell that things were kind of a mess, or were you kind of far removed from that?
Well, I don't know if I was. I mean, listen, I don't like. First of all, I'm not going to talk bad about anybody, but I was.
But I will.
No, I won't. We were 3 years removed from winning a cup, I think, and all of a sudden we were back to square one, and it was very deflating as a player, so there was a lot of changes and, personnel changes too, and coaching and this and that. And it was a time that made me appreciate the good times more. And obviously when Mr. Vinnick came and took over, like it totally brought some stability and some direction. But I think as a player, I think it's actually like not a bad thing to go through those, because actually like you're like, wow, I was lucky to have those years. Because if it's always good, you don't understand how good you have it. So to me, that was a time that helped me appreciate all the good times.
Now, at that same time, that was Stamkos' first year, right? Yeah. So when I asked this question to Vinny, when you first saw Stamkos, what did you think? Well, when you first saw him on the ice.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Stammer could shoot it, could skate, could shoot. Okay, he was 18 years old and trying to, there's more to the game, especially at this level, to just skate and shoot. You have to learn to play the game a little bit. And Stammer was raw in that department, like any other 18-year-olds. But I think it was tough for Stammer coming in too, because he wasn't really playing early on. He wasn't playing top 6 minutes. He was in and out of the lineup because he had to get stronger. They kind of had a plan for him, and they stuck to that plan until he started scoring goals. Until they put him in the top 6, and then he stopped scoring goals. So now that plan was off. Now he's playing every game. Didn't matter to get stronger. The guy can score.
Yeah. Put the puck in the net. You're all set.
Yeah,
Keep going, son.
Yeah. So, so it was his first season was like
up and down.
Two opposites, like, and but obviously figured it out.
Well, we asked the former Lightning players. You don't have to name a whole lineup, but we like to do like an all-time Lightning kind of lineup thing, like couple D, couple forwards. You could say yourself and Vinny, and Richie.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you who hasn't put you, on the Lightning Mount Rushmore or the
it
Lightning
doesn't
top
need to
line.
be maybe 4 guys that really,
Yeah.
I don't know. You could say Stammer, Hetty, Cooch, and Massey. I don't care.
Yeah, Girardi.
Yeah, I really put the Wired for sound on the map. Getting wired up for the game, that really got me going here. And the podcast game has gone way up since I got here.
Yeah, not to me. If the game was on the line, and I want to be on the ice with 4 other players, it would be obviously. For me, it'd be Happy Bulin. Vazzy's very good. But for me, Happy, won the cup here. And I'm sure Vazzy will win a cup here as well. But I've never played with him. So I'm going to pick players that I played with for a significant amount of time. Dan Boyle, who could really control the game. Probably Hetty.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Hetty would be nice.
Happy.
Yeah.
It was pretty deadly.
Yeah, and then up front, I would go me, Vinny, and Stammer.
Sounds about right.
I'd probably matched up against those guys. I used to go against the top guys in my prime. Not the last couple of years, but anyways. Hall of Fame. I was lucky enough to play with you in New York, and then we were with the Lightning in Toronto. We got to come see the ceremony. I was very honored to be able to be there for that, and obviously that meant a ton to you and your family.
Yeah, 100%. The luck that the Lightning can be drivable distance. They weren't in Toronto, they were in Buffalo, which is very drivable. There was a lot of Ranger guys that I played with that were in the Lightning, and then obviously plenty of the Lightning game and a lot of the staff that's still here, and so for me it was a great surprise, and I only wish I had more times with them, but the fact that they took that time to pay their respect on my night, I was, you can't, I can't think of any more respect given back to me by these guys taking time out of their schedule and making that drive.
What was the call like when you found out you were getting into the Hall of Fame?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't even think of it. I've said it before. I'm very comfortable how I came in the league and how I went out and what I did in between. And whether I'm in the Hall of Fame or not, it wasn't going to change how I felt about myself. So I wasn't expecting a call. I wasn't I didn't think, I don't know. I mean,
Andrew Chuck was.
You beat me too. I was gonna say he's like I had the numbers.
Andrew Chuck
But
was staring at a color
we
ID.
did. It was just he was every day he's I was staring at his phone come on, Toronto number one time.
But I don't know. It was a first time ballot worthy.
Right.
So I wasn't if I don't get the call now, you just figure hey, it'll take care of itself, and if you're not, you're not, and if you are, you are. And call came and it was 416, and I was at the lake house in Quebec. 416 is Toronto. I'm who's calling me 416? And then I answered, and it was Lonnie McDonald and John Davidson. And I was like, oh my gosh. It's actually funny because we were doing a lot of stuff around the property, my dad, me, my wife, but we were not in the same room all day. We're all in different part, whether the house or the property. And it happened that at that time, we were all in the kitchen when that phone call came. And it was it got silenced. They realized that what was happening. But I don't think we were really sitting by the phone. We weren't doing that.
Did you cry when you found out?
I don't think I cried. My dad cried.
Sure.
My wife cried. I didn't cry. I cried when I got on the stage and Dave gave me the plaque. I was that really hit me, and it could, honestly, I have so much respect for Dave. I had gone the year before to support him in his induction, and I couldn't have been more proud to get in the Hall of Fame. But to get that plaque from Dave, who waited a long time and paid his dues and had a tremendous career. Captain of our Stanley Cup team, learned so much from him. To me, was always a Hall of Famer. When he got here, he was a Hall of Fame to me. I don't know when he was going in, but to me, he was a Hall of Fame. So for me to get the plaque from him, who had waited so many years and was a big part of my development here in Tampa, it meant the world to me.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's a good podcast.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm glad that you rearranged your haircut schedule so that you could be here for it.
Speaking of haircut, it's all down my shirt. I can't even.
He's itchy.
I'm like can't even move.
You trimmed the beard too?
Yeah, I trimmed the beard, lined it up. I got a big daddy-daughter dance tonight.
Gonna
So
shut
I'm
it
a little
down.
nervous.
Huh?
I got to work on my dance moves and
There
stuff.
you go.
Marty, we talked, we got Callie's perspective on this when we had him on the podcast and talked about when he got traded and, what a shock it was to him, even though he kind of sensed it was coming. And I've read your comments on it. It was a big story here when you were traded. Is there anything that you want the fans to know now that maybe they were too emotional to kind of understand back in the day? Do you feel like that's all kind of settled?
Yeah, I think it's kind of settled, honestly. Like for me, the fans were always great to me, and I grew up here. Like I came here, I wasn't a highly touted prospect, so I think they pulled from me like gradually, like, and then I became the player I became, and then I think they fell in love with me like as a player here, and they were disappointed when I left, and I respect that, and I understand that, but I would say the same reason why they fell in love with me, my character and everything, is one of the same reason why I ended up leaving. Just my makeup and my family. Like just I never felt that I took any shortcuts in anything I did, and I didn't take shortcuts in the decision I made either.
So what do you think, G, when Callie leaves town and here comes Marty?
I feel like we're vibing because my next question was talk about some time in New York.
Yeah.
That worked out great. Thanks for asking that question.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
looking at your notes.
Anyways, it was perfect.
This is your first year?
Yeah, first year what? Yeah,
First year doing a podcast?
Yeah,
you guys are transitioning really well.
yeah, I've been doing it in Welland in the summers.
You're our 16th
Do you
episode.
practice?
No, yeah, me and my wife just practice every day. Oh, hey, so you're gonna pretend to be Marty today. So we get the call, Callie, it's a morning skate, and Callie's like, I got traded, and we're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, no clue. Then we find out Marty's coming. We're like, oh, that's not that bad. like you're like, oh crap, like Callie left, but you're bringing in a guy like Marty, and like, oh my god, this could be good. And it was, we got to the Cup Finals. Marty had a heck of a playoffs for us, and the next year we unfortunately got freaking Lightning beat us. And I asked,
that was my last game. My last game was against the Lightning.
I know. I asked Callie, I'm like, let's be honest, how good did that game feel? He's like, honestly, that's probably top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, his first goal. He's like, because obviously you get traded away, and then obviously for you, I never heard the end of it because the pictures are all on the wall in the locker room of Killer scoring or Pally scoring in Game 7.
Yeah.
Got to walk by it every day from the change room to the shower. I have to walk by it, and I'm just like, come on, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, the 2 years, the 2 Stanley Cup run playoff I had in New York, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, obviously losing in Game 7 to Tampa, it was hard. I didn't know at the time it'd be my last game, but kind of fitting. And, and you want to win the Cup, but honestly, like, it's the journey. It's like I've been to 2 Stanley Cup finals. I've won one. I lost one in Tampa. One lost in New York, but they were both awesome. Which I just didn't win on one of them. Like they were both awesome, And conference finals, same thing. Like it's just the grind and the fight. Just the block shots, you're just like really like warrior mentality, and you get your game to a whole new level, and it's so much fun to go through it. My experience in New York, the 2 playoff run, like I wouldn't trade that for anything, even, and we didn't win, but, and I hope the Lightning, I was cheering for them when they beat us, but it's hard. You need a lot of things to line up to win.
I'm kidding.
Well, you're telling me.
Yeah, saw that last year.
First year here in Tampa, I'm like, oh, we got this. Up 3-2 on Washington, I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy. Let's go play Vegas. Let's go. Then we didn't score a goal Game 6 or Game 7, so that one hurt. And obviously last year, not knowing it the same way, like last playoff game, not knowing it was my final game, you get swept.
Yeah.
that one stings a little bit. I think that's a tough little finish. Yeah. But like you said though, goalie's hot, teams like everything's going right for the other team, and that's just the way it goes. And obviously I'd love to have another crack at it, but I've had like 3 or 4 conference finals, 1 Stanley Cup final. Like I have my chances. Yeah, no, and you were the definition of a playoff player. Like you just ate pucks, and like I have so much respect for guys like that. We had back in 2004, we had guys like Jason Collymore who would go down on one knee to block one-timers, hit him in the chest, and that's like you reminded me a lot of that. And you win with guys like that, and unfortunately you didn't win, but I think you definitely played your part in any playoff games that I've seen you play with or against. So here we go. Sorry, spilling my Diet Pepsi. Yeah, I know. I'm getting excited. I know. So you might want to. Back in the confidence is really high right now. Yeah, swagger. I hit up Lifetime today. I walked in the treadmill for 5 minutes. I was gassed. But I told Coop not to call me. To talk about the trade a little bit, like it was hard walking into a new team after being somewhere for 14 and like feeling like it's. Did you want it to be the Rangers? House. Did you, or you just wanted to get traded to the Rangers? Yeah, I want to go to New York. It was okay. I want to go to New York, but I didn't realize how hard and how long it takes to really feel comfortable in yourself. Because when I first got there, you're not being played the same way. People don't understand exactly where you go on the ice. Just your warm-up routine, whatever it is, it's just very uncomfortable. Just run into guys and warm up. It's just very uncomfortable. Guys are taking your pucks, you're snapping. And we had Richie, though. You had Richie at least, right? Yeah, like, for sure. That was kind of nice. It was nice, No, for sure. But it was just tougher than you thought it would be. Definitely, yeah. Are you glad you had that experience in your career? 100%. Like, to go experience something else, to play at MSG, like, scoring game winner in overtime against Montreal at MSG. I show my son that YouTube clip all the time because I was the first guy in the pile. I grabbed it like this, so I just trying to reminisce, still trying to hang on to whatever I got. G pretty much has himself scoring the goal now in that story. Yeah, like that was game 4 in Boston though, and your one-handed goal. Anyways, the whole that playoff run in 2014 was a very emotional run for me. I lost my mom, and the whole city kind of rallied behind me, my teammates and stuff, and it was surreal. Like it took me like months after to really grasp what we just went through. And obviously with my mom's passing as well, it took me a long time to really like process that because I was busy playing hockey, and I think it brought. I think we all, my family, like mourn and help them get through it with the hockey. Definitely helped me, and my team. I became really close to my teammates very quick because of what I was going through, and the winning and getting to the Stanley Cup final was a great experience. No, we definitely rallied around that. There's no question. Everything that happens, we really thought that we were going to get to that, get the trophy because everything was, with Marty went through, everything was coming together. Yeah. But we just couldn't do it. But scored a goal on Mother's Day. That was pretty. Yeah. That was pretty cool. Yeah. One of my first shift, and the building erupted. And it came back down 3-1 to Pitt. It's crazy how it works. I know. It's amazing. Yeah. Marty, we've heard so much about your legendary summer workouts, and what we've heard is that you would go so hard and then you would throw up. Like that's when you knew your workout was over. Are those the rumors? Is that true? They are rumors. It's not like I worked out till I threw up. Like every day. No, but to me, I worked out with Ben Prentice, and he's he finds a way to get you dialed in for the season. And one of his ways, is lactic acid tolerance on Friday, which is a lot of leg work, and that gets your heart rate up, and you kind of push yourself to the limit. And there's times I threw up, but it wasn't every Friday. But honestly, on Friday, I could not get in my car to drive till at least 30, 40 minutes after the workout because I was so lightheaded. But I felt like that was, to me, like training camp was easy because there was nothing harder than my Fridays. So training camp,
was easy because of it, but it wasn't like every day. Only on Friday, I came close.
Thank you for clearing that
Yes.
up.
Well, that was a big myth we wanted to bust.
It's like Marty threw up 4 times a day in the summer.
It's like that show Mythbusters on Discovery.
3 a day.
Yeah, he puked every day of the week, then came to camp and it was a walk in the park for him.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because obviously I think, G's got a dance to go to, and Marty, we don't want to take up too much of your time. 2 guys that defied the odds that ended up in the NHL. What do both of you guys want to tell people, not just hockey players, but people that maybe are overlooked in life or their line of work? What advice would you give them?
You want to start?
Sure. And once again, I'm going to refer to that parenting magazine article.
Yep.
They asked me something about, what to instill in your kids and stuff and things like that. But for me, it was never the most talented, never the most skilled, but always work the hardest. You know what I mean? Like always put in time after practice, summer, never was complacent of where I was in the lineup. I knew I was playing top 4D minutes every night, but I never was like just showing up and expecting to be good out there. I was never taking that for granted, and mainly like just to never, sounds like so stupid, but like never give up. Like just keep going. Crap's going to happen. Blow out ankles every other year. I'd have an ankle situation.
Ankle fanny pack.
Blowing out knees and like hips and like, but you never use those things as excuses. You kind of just, you battle through it and you feel better. Then you get going again in the next gear. And I don't know. I feel like never just get discouraged. Just always know who you are and just be proud of that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like for me, to reach your dream, or I always say, like, to me, like being successful, reaching your dream, it's not the norm, it's the exception. Okay? And you have to make decisions along the way that are the exceptions. Like you miss stuff. That's just in terms of attitude. But now the actual like workload and at becoming what you want to become as an athlete, especially as a young kid, especially in today's game, the biggest problem is people are looking left and right. What's he doing? Well, he's really good there. He's really good there. And they stop focusing on what is straight ahead of what you want to be. So for me, I would tell the kids, put some blinders on and just go after what you want. Don't worry what he's doing over here. Don't worry what he's doing over there. Okay? Be the best at getting better. That's my advice. I feel that's what I was. I was really good at getting better. I had speed. There was guys faster than me. I had good hands, but there was guys way better hands than me, way better shot. But I felt like I saw something. Oh, I need to add that to my game. I saw something. I need to add that. I was really good at not thinking that I knew it all. And I was really good at just applying some of those things and trying to get better. And not worry this guy's got so many points here, this guy's playing AAA here, this guy's going to that tournament there. What am I doing? No, the goal is just to keep getting better. Don't worry about what's happening left and right. And that's really hard today because of all the social media, and they're posting about this and he's posting about that, and then you feel like, I'm being left behind. No, it doesn't matter where you are at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You want to keep the runway as long as you can. Okay, until they tell you can't play anymore, keep the runway as long as you can, and hopefully that's with parlaying and education with it, and keep getting better, because at 22, 23, I was a better player at 28 than I was at 23. I was a better player at 33 than I was at 28. So it's just don't worry about what's happening left and right. Don't worry who's talking about who. Just really be truthful of who you want to become and how you're going to get there.
I couldn't agree more about not worrying about yourself, but keeping the straight ahead. Like you said, people are like, "Oh, he's going to that skills development camp."
Yeah.
But this guy is working out with this guy after.
I know, and this guy's rated this, and this guy's rated that.
I told my son, I'm like, "Listen, buddy, you got the encyclopedia right here, man. Like, I got a shooting gallery in our garage at home in Canada. Well, I have a gym for myself in Canada. I'm like, listen, buddy, you want to do anything? What, like, you got me. I got no other job, man. Like, if you want to learn,
Yeah.
And bring a couple buddies over. Like, let's go have some fun. And one thing I do like about him is he doesn't worry about those things. Like, oh man, like this kid's doing that, Dad. Like he's like, hey, let's just go play mini sticks upstairs. He's like, he doesn't really worry about all the distractions around. So that's one thing that I'm going to keep preaching to my son, and hopefully, I know the parents of our team listen, and I'm hoping, we all can kind of get on the same page and just, worry about just getting better as a person and just being a good teammate and just kind of
having fun.
Exactly.
Because they'll be out of the house in no time, and there's no more weekend tournament.
Yeah, the parents are like, so what do we do now? Yeah. We gotta drive them somewhere?
More alumni games.
And,
You got anything else for Marty?
No,
we should end on that.
No, I appreciate him taking the time. I know he's here this weekend with his team, busy schedule. I squeezed in a haircut, then I had to come here. I was so.
You got to go stretch now.
Now, the back is locked right now. But I go hit the foam roller in the room. But no, like I said, appreciate you taking some time. And
thanks a lot, Marty. You made me a fan of the Lightning. You're my favorite
player. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.